Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new episode of the weekly playlist. It's Friday, so that means it's time for me to share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week. I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions on these games that I have been playing, but I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on them. If you played them before, what you liked about them, maybe there's something you didn't like about them. I'd also love to hear what games you guys are currently playing, because you guys give me great ideas on games that you guys discuss here. And then I also love whenever you guys give me any recommendations on games you think I should check out, because you guys have recommended a lot of games over the last couple of years of me doing this, and I have a nice growing list of games to check out, so I really appreciate that. Now, I'm still been on a Xbox One kick. Like, I've just been playing my Xbox One console a lot in the last like 5 months, just really putting a lot of time into it. And I've got two more games to share with you guys this week. One I got from last week, and a new one that I've added into the rotation. And this first one here, I have an absolute blast with it, and that is Vikings Wolves of Midgard. Now, this is a fantastic top-down isometric action RPG, which I'm a huge fan of. So this plays like your Diablos, your Champions of Norath, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance type of games. I really love those action RPGs, and this is something that I've really been enjoying. First started playing this, when it first came out, which was 2017. So I first started, several years ago. Really enjoyed it, and then I stopped playing it, and just been kind of on a Viking kick lately because I've been watching the Vikings TV show, and then I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which has the Viking setting, and so I was like, I knew I had another Viking game in my collection that I'd like to try and play again, and that was this one, Wolves of Midgard, and I'm so glad that I decided to go back to it. I love the story. It's great, because I like that whole Viking setting and everything. Being a Viking warrior is great. I like that whole mythology and everything that deals with the Norse gods and everything, which is awesome. And that whole stuff is like all in here, all the central themes of everything. The music is just phenomenal in this game. The soundtrack is awesome. I have the digital soundtrack that I do listen to sometimes on my computer, and it's just really great. And it really can get you pumped into some of the battles in the game. The music gets playing and stuff, and it just like epic warrior like fighting music. It's just really great. It does have a nice little character creation at the beginning of the game. You can choose to be a warrior, which is a male, or you can be a she-male, which is a female. And then they have several different like hairstyles you can change. You can also change the different beards. You can also change tattoos, which is great. And then you also have different play styles that you can do, because you have different kinds of weapons that you can do. So you can have a staff weapon, which is one that I use. You also have bows. You have axes. You also have swords, but then you have combination where you can dual wield like two axes, or you can dual wield a shield and a sword. So there are different ways that you can play in that. And then along with that, though, you have different gods that unlock different abilities for your character. Like you have Odin and Loki, etc. And by doing that, you can unlock perks and stuff for your character to unlock different abilities. So, like, I'm doing the shaman one, is like the staff weapon, and so I unlocked different abilities. Like you have fire ability, which is pretty cool, and lightning and stuff like that. So I do like that there are some magic elements to the game, which is great. I also like the interesting concept for XP. So instead of like your normal XP that you normally would get in games, it's actually blood that you take from your enemies when you kill them. But the great thing about that is the blood also heals your character, which is cool. Now, this does not have any like health potions or anything like that. You have a health charm, and it's kind of similar to like the Dark Souls with the Estus flask, where you only have so many charges to use, and then when you run out of them, you can't heal yourself anymore until you go to a little healing shrine thing, and then it replenishes it. Except it doesn't make enemies respawn like the Dark Souls series, but it just replenish your health thing. So I thought that was a unique way that they did that for the game. Now, this game is definitely not easy either. Just to let you guys know that it is fairly difficult, especially early on as you're playing the game, and you really can struggle at the start just with how difficult some of the regular enemies can be. Now the game is broke up into different chapters and then different campaigns as you go through the story, and then every level is basically broke up through levels. You go through the levels, you have the main mission that you're doing, but you also have some bonus objectives to do, which if you do the bonus stuff, you'll unlock iron, or you'll unlock money, gold, and stuff, because you can actually use that for your character to buy upgrades, and you also can upgrade your village. So in the beginning of the game, your village gets attacked, and you have to fight off the invaders, which are the Jotun, the ice giants and stuff, which is really cool. But then later on in the story, you can start upgrading different aspects of your camp, which I like, because then you can use that to unlock other perks and unlock like weapons and stuff, because like you have a weaponsmith there who makes weapons. Well, if you earn enough extra like iron and money and stuff like that, you can actually upgrade him so he can make better equipment for you, and you just keep upgrading stuff like that, which is cool. You also how you upgrade your stuff, as I was mentioning with the whole blood being the XP currency, is you have a altar where you sacrifice that blood, and then you can put it at one point of either like you could have increased health, or if you could go to make your guy have more damage or more armor or attack speed. So it's really cool. You can put the little points in there, and I just like that concept of using blood from the enemies that actually is your XP instead of just getting an XP number that most games do. So I thought that was kind of cool and unique to this. It's also a really violent and bloody game, which I really love. And sometimes has a slow motion part when you hit enemies. They'll like explode, or their heads will fall off, or arms will break off, and they'll scream and stuff. I had a couple cool times where just like guys are like running into me, and it just like it's slow mo, and it just shows my staff, because that's my main weapon I use, and it just like took a dude's head off, and it just kind of flew off screen. It was kind of cool. So it was really bloody and gory. So that's something I really like about the game. It also has really good voice acting too. Like all the voice actors they pick for the characters like you fit the person. Like if it's a big, like burly dude, he has that kind of like deep voice, or if it's like a shield maid female or something, she has that higher pitch voice. Like that, they pick perfect voice actors for the characters. They really do fit, which is great. There's some other there's a witch in the game, and the way the person they pick for the voice of the witch, like she just fits like a witch. You're like, yeah, I could definitely see her as a witch. So I like that they actually pick good voice actors for this. And of course, I mentioned the music. It's just absolutely phenomenal soundtrack. It's wonderful music. It'll really get you in the mood for playing, especially if you play this with your headset on. I have mine like maxed out, so the bass is going, the music is going. It's just loud with all the explosions going and everything, and it really like sucks you into the world, which is something I really enjoy. Definitely think you guys should give this one a try, especially if you're a fan of the isometric top-down action RPGs like I am. And I absolutely love this game. Now I've heard it's about a 20 to 25 hour story, and then they do have a new game plus. I was looking on the marketplace, and I was hoping that maybe there'd be some DLC for this, but they actually just never created any DLC for the game, which is kind of a shame. I would have really liked to have seen some DLC for us. Usually these kind of games, they release DLC or something like extra story expansions, but there's actually nothing really to get for this game, except I think there was one little pre-order bonus thing, possibly like a skin or something like that. Other than that, I don't think there was any other digital content you could get for the game, but definitely it's worth checking out. If you guys are a fan of Vikings, or you're a fan of those isometric top-down action RPGs, give Vikings Wolves of Midgard a try. It's a great game. I'm up to level 10 right now, and I'm not sure what the level cap is. You can actually specialize in up to 2 different weapon styles, I heard. Like you can actually max out, and so I like to use the staff as my main one, but then I also have been using bows for long range, because at the end of every level that it's broke up into, there's actually a boss fight, and some of the bosses are absolutely massive. Like they're huge dudes you fight, and someone can be just brutally difficult. And I found a trick with the bows, attacking for a little distance, and then you also have the ability to roll in the game, which is really cool. You can roll a bunch around to get out of really tight situations, because sometimes they can use magic and stuff like that. and I found that that bow is really handy in that. So I've been leveling up both the staff and my bow abilities, and using those two weapons, and I'm having a blast with it. Has a huge variety of enemies too. I've been running into some new ones. So you got your goblins, you got boars, you also got goblins that ride boars. You've got golems in the game. You've got zombies. You've also fight humans too, which is really cool. I finally got into fighting other humans and stuff. You fight other Vikings in the game, which is awesome. Some have shields, so they can hold their shield up, and you have to find a way to get around it. Sometimes you hit them, and you can roll behind them and attack them, because if you hit them front on with the shield, they're obviously blocking. And then some of those enemies do have powers themselves. As I'm starting to get further along in the story, I'm running into some stronger and stronger enemies who actually start wielding magic abilities like my character does. So you gotta be careful fighting some of those big dudes. But overall, I'm just having a blast with it, and I love these kind of games, and I'm glad that I decided to go back to it, and this is one I'm looking forward to beating. Definitely recommend you guys check out Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. And our other game here, my buddy Dean actually was talking about how he wanted to get back to playing this, and it made me want to check it out and play it. And so I decided to pop in because I hadn't played it since 2018, and that is Sleeping Dogs, and this is a definitive edition for Xbox One. Now, I have originally started this on Xbox 360. That was the vanilla version of the game. They did have DLC and everything, but you had to buy it. I didn't. Kind of put that game on hold, and then when it came out on the Xbox One, I picked up a copy because I heard that it had the extra DLC and everything, and obviously upgraded graphics and performance and everything. And so I picked that up, started playing it, got pretty far in the story, and then kind of put it down and forgot about it. And then, hear my buddy Dean talking about it kind of got me like, hey, I want to check that out again. And it was pretty cool. And so I'm glad I did. Go over the back for you guys because I had forgot a lot about the story, like the characters and everything. But after I played like an hour, I kind of got back into the story. Like, oh yeah, I remember now where I was going. So you are Wei Shen. He's an undercover cop trying to take down the triads from the inside. And so this definitive edition of the award-winning open world action adventure, rebuilt and remastered, includes all previously available downloadable content and a wealth of new enhancements. So this takes place in Hong Kong, which is cool, and this is basically like a Grand Theft Auto type game, which is great. It's open world. You can run around the world and do whatever you want. You have the main stories you go through, but then you also have side missions and collectibles to find, and which is really great. Since you're a cop, you actually can do stuff for your cop side of you, but then you're also undercover as a triad, which is the Chinese gang, and you can do things for that side. And sometimes you have to balance out the two, because you're trying to play the bad guy but also the good guy at the same time. And so you can do different things, different missions for either side, and you also earn points for like triads, or you earn points for the cops, and you can use that to actually unlock abilities in the game, which is really cool. There's a nice variety of vehicles to choose from, so you have motorcycles and little mopeds, and you've got sports cars, and you got big police vehicles and buses you can take over, and SWAT vans and stuff like that, which is cool. There's also boats in the game that you can actually drive around boats in the game. I don't know if there's any helicopters or anything, because I haven't ever run into any or seen any, so I don't know if there's any helicopters to fly or planes or anything like that. But overall, it's a really fun game that I'm glad I went back to, and I'm glad that Dean was talking about, because it got me back into wanting to check it out. And this Sleeping Dogs game is awesome. I'm having a blast with it. Now, one of the big differences between this and like a Grand Theft Auto game is that it's not very heavily focused on guns. I mean, there will be a lot of enemies that have guns or whatever, but you can't really like store guns anywhere. You can't kind of hide guns. Basically, like if you go to a mission that needs guns, they'll give you one. Like you'll find a handgun on the floor. I did notice that with some of the definitive edition content, that when you unlock some of the costumes for Shen, that some of them actually come with a weapon that you can use, which you have to buy. So I don't know. And then I noticed, like, after I bought it the initial time, I went to re-equip it. It didn't give me the gun again, so I don't know if that's like a one-time thing or not. But the game is more focused on like hand-to-hand combat, doing karate type of fighting, that kind of thing, and martial arts. And the fighting does kind of remind me, it's not as sophisticated as like the Batman Arkham Asylum game or the Assassin's Creed, the old ones of the fighting, but it does have blocking and countering, and guys will turn red right before they attack you. And if you hit the Y button, which is the counter button, you'll counter them and attack. And so when you get into huge groups of enemies, different guys will try to attack you while you're attacking somebody. And if you're not careful, you can die real quickly because the enemies can hit hard, especially when you get a bunch of them together. And learning how to counter is key to winning in the combat in this game. And of course, like I said, now there are firefights in the game when you do get access to weapons, but you can't put a weapon away. You just, when you don't want to hold it, you actually just throw the weapon on the ground. But you can take other weapons from enemies too. Like you can be fighting them, and you can punch a dude, and you can take the handgun out of his hand and then shoot him with it, which is pretty cool. I like that. Since your guy is a martial arts expert, you have all those kind of martial arts moves in this game, and it does have a good story. I'm really liking that. The story in it, voice acting is done really well. It has great music. Of course, there's a lot of it that's in Chinese, and there's some funny Chinese commercials, but there's also some British commercials and stuff, and British characters in the game, because Britain used to have control of Hong Kong before they gave it back to China, and so some of that influence is actually still in the game. And you have a variety of music you can change to, like when you drive vehicles and stuff, just like in Grand Theft Auto games. And you have different stations you can listen to, and just really having a blast with this game. It's like Grand Theft Auto, but set in Hong Kong. And I actually like this game a little bit more than the Grand Theft Auto games. Now, it doesn't have as much like padded filler in it as, there's not like taxi missions, and there's not going to be your ambulance mission or anything like. But you do have races you can do. There are random encounters and stuff. Like there might be a lady saying, "Hey, stop, there's a guy that just took my purse." And sometimes you'll see a dude will steal a purse or something. You can actually run and take him down, bring it back to the lady, and you get a nice little reward. Your character does have these face points, which are like karma points or something. When you do good things like that, it'll raise it up, and then actually can unlock more perks and abilities for you to level up. There's a martial arts expert in the game, and I think there's actually more than one, where you can learn new fighting styles. And by going through his tutorials, you'll unlock combat abilities and like combos and stuff you can use in the fighting, because it's really key, especially when you get to the stronger enemies. As you get further along in the story, the enemies get tougher, and knowing how to use those different fighting styles and how to counter and everything is like a lifesaver when you get into some of those difficult battles, which is great. They also have races in the game too, which is pretty cool. So you have different races you can use to unlock stuff. And then there's a whole bunch of collectibles throughout the world that you can unlock. Like there's these health shrines. Example, if you find so many health shrines, you actually get a boost to your health. So it really pays for you to find the collectibles, because they unlock stuff in the game for you. Like finding these little briefcases things that are around the world actually unlock money, and they can unlock weapons and cars and stuff for you. And as you do missions and stuff too, besides like the main one, you have like cop missions, triad missions and stuff, those actually unlock perks, which you can unlock the more money for you. Unlock vehicles you can access to. They have a nice feature in this. You have a garage. If you bring any vehicle to it automatically saves a copy of it in there, and any garage you go to, you can access those vehicles. So if you put like a cop car example in there, you can pick it up anywhere you go. And one thing I found out about the cop cars, which is pretty cool, is that if you go to the trunk and open up, they almost always have a gun, like a handgun or something in the back. So you can always, have a handgun with you in that vehicle. You can take it out when you need it for a mission or something, which is cool. You also have, there's security cameras around Hong Kong, which you actually can hack into. And then you can use that to catch criminals and stuff for the police missions. Definitely give Sleeping Dogs a try if you've never played it before. This is on the PlayStation 3, it's on the Xbox 360, but the definitive edition, the best versions, would be on PS4 and Xbox One. Now, I'm not sure if this ever got a PC port or not, but if so, that'd be another way you guys could check it out. But definitely check out Sleeping Dogs, either on the Xbox One or the PS4. It's a great game. If you love the Grand Theft Auto games, you'll enjoy your time with this. It's got a great setting. The characters are cool. The music is great. Great voice acting. Like, they just did a really good job with this game, and I'm really enjoying the story. This also has since it's the definitive edition, this also has 2 story DLCs in it to play, plus a ton of really cool Easter egg skins and like outfits that the Shen can wear. Like there's one from Rico from the Just Cause games. There's a Agent 47, so that's referencing the Hitman series. There's also one that references Bruce Lee. There's ones that represent different like ninjas, and like it's just a huge variety of different outfits in the game that you can buy for Shen. And then some of them actually do give you like bonus perks. Like one, there's a SWAT outfit that actually makes you take 50% less damage with weapons, or one might make you have better combat abilities for hand to hand. One might make you earn XP faster. One might make you earn fame better. So it's really cool the different costumes in there and how they unlock abilities for a Shen. And there's different shops and stuff that you can shop at to buy clothing. You can heal yourself by buying food from vendors. You can also buy like drinks at vending machines around the world, which is pretty cool. There's actually taxis in the game, which you can actually ride the taxi and they'll actually take you different parts of the map, and then you pay money for it, which is a cool feature. I remember that being introduced in Grand Theft Auto 4, where you can actually have the game drive you somewhere. Now, unlike in Grand Theft Auto 4, where you can actually watch the whole drive there, this pretty much you pay for it, you get a little clip of him driving and dropping off where you choose on the map. So, definitely a cool game. Different gangs and stuff to fight in this game, people to save. And like I said, you got your races, you got your main missions, you got your side stuff to do. So it's definitely a game that'll keep you really busy. I got about 10 hours into this game overall, because I really just started this here on Thursday and playing a little bit this early morning here right before I'm making this video here on Friday. Another game that I'm going to be playing, and hopefully I can finally beat this one, because I had something that I really enjoyed when I first played the demo of this back on the 360 days. And the game just was like, oh, this game is really awesome. And it really is, especially this definitive edition. It's just really cool. So it says it includes 24 DLC add-ons. I just read that there because I hadn't seen the freaking cover in a while. So 24 DLC stuff is in the game in this definitive edition. It's fairly cheap too. Like I see this at my local game stores for like $7 to $10 or something. Not very expensive game these days since it's so old. But definitely give Sleeping Dogs a try. I'd like to know we'll do our little recap here. We talked about Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. This is a wonderful top-down action RPG with a Viking setting. Has fantastic music, great voice actors. The combat is fluid. The characters move really well. Have a unique variety of enemies. You have a great story. Overall, it's like a 20 to 25 hour game to play overall. Definitely think you guys should play it if you're a fan of top-down action RPGs. Give Vikings, Wolves of Midgard a try. And then we also talked about Sleeping Dogs, which is a great game that plays just like the Grand Theft Auto games. It's set in Hong Kong. You play as Wei Shin, who is a cop, but he's undercover trying to take down the Triads, which is a Chinese gang. And it just has a great story. You have main story to go through. You have side missions to do, collectibles, races. Just tons and tons of content that'll keep you busy. Plus, if you get the definitive edition on the Xbox One or PS4, you get 24 DLCs that add different characters, vehicles, weapons, outfits, and story DLC to the game, which really enhances it, which is great. So once I beat the main story, then I'm going to want to go through those 2 side ones to check out. Let me know your guys' thoughts if you played Vikings, Wolves of Midgard, or the Sleeping Dogs game on either the old ones for the 360 PS3, or you played the new one, the definitive edition for Xbox One and PS4. Love to know your guys' thoughts. I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, if you guys have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, let me know. You guys always do recommend great games, and I'm always looking for new games to check out. And I also want to hear what games you guys have been playing lately, because that gives me ideas on games to check out. You guys are awesome. Take care. Have a great day and sleep. We'll see you guys next time.